The exposition of Great Shinjin comprises roughly the first half of the chapter on Shinjin, and may be divided in two: a compilation of passages illuminating Shinjin, followed by an analysis of Shinjin in question and answer form. The section of passages parallels in structure the preceding chapters on teaching and practice. Shinran introduces the section by identifying Great Shinjin as an aspect of Amida's directing of virtue to sentient beings, and, after quoting the passages, concludes, quote, "Whether with regard to practice or to Shinjin, there is nothing whatever that has not been fulfilled through Amida Tathagata's directing of virtue to beings from his pure vow mind. It is not that there is no cause, or that there is some other cause." Close quote. Thus, he asserts that Shinjin is not an attitude of mind to be achieved by beings, but is given by Amida. Further, practice and Shinjin are considered together here. Underlying this statement is Shinran's understanding that saying the Nembutsu is great practice because it emerges from the realization of Shinjin. At the beginning of the chapter he states, quote, "It is not attainment of the unexcelled, incomparable fruit of enlightenment that is difficult. The genuine difficulty is realizing true and real Shinjin." Close quote. From the perspective of the practicer, the realization of Shinjin lies at the heart of the Pure Land Way, and precisely because, quote, "our attainment of Shinjin arises from the heart and mind with which Amida Tathagata selected the vow," close quote, that is, from Amida's working, this realization is difficult, for it implies the abandonment of all attachments to our own worth. Chief among the attesting passages are the 18th vow and the passage declaring that this vow has been fulfilled, quoted from the larger sutra. He quotes the 18th vow, quote, "If, when I attain Buddhahood, the sentient beings of the 10 quarters, with sincere mind entrusting themselves, aspiring to be born in my land, and saying my name perhaps even 10 times, should not be born there, may I not attain the supreme enlightenment." Close quote. In the Pure Land tradition up to the time of Shinran, the phrases, quote, "sincere mind," entrusting themselves, and aspiring to be born in my land were understood as 3 minds or attitudes: sincerity, trust, and aspiration, to be assumed by the practicer. Shinran fundamentally alters this understanding by taking sincere mind not as the practicer's sincerity, but rather the true and real mind of Amida. Thus, a person does not sincerely entrust himself, but rather the sincere mind with which Amida made the vow, the true and real mind of the Buddha, is given to the person through the power of the vow, and this mind manifests itself as that person's entrusting and aspiration, and his saying of the name. In this sense, the 3 minds together are essentially directed or given to beings as a single mind, the mind of Amida. The passage on the fulfillment of the 18th vow is crucial to Shinran's interpretation of the vow itself, where the text had been interpreted, quote, "When sentient beings hear the name, say it even once in trust and joy, sincerely direct their merits toward attainment of birth, and aspire to be born." Close quote. Shinran reads, quote, "All sentient beings, as they hear the name, realize even one thought moment of Shinjin and joy, which is directed to them from Amida's sincere mind, and, aspiring to be born in that land, they then attain birth and dwell in the stage of non-retrogression." Close quote. As in the vow, we find that the term sincere mind is understood with reference to Amida, not sentient beings. Instead of beings sincerely directing their merits, Amida gives his true and real mind to them.